And now, Mike's thoughts.
The NFL has officially lost this plot of the streaming-only games. The league was built around Sunday afternoons, antenna TV, living rooms, sports bars, and family couches that have seen decades and decades of heartbreak if you're a Chicago Bears fan. And now, you need a treasure map, 5 subscriptions, a strong Wi-Fi signal, and a defined patience just to find a kickoff. Prime Video, Peacock, ESPN Plus, NFL Plus, it goes on and on and on. Saturday there, Tuesday here, Thursday there, Christmas somewhere behind a paywall with this limited edition sneaker drop. This isn't innovation. This is football turned into a scavenger hunt. Guys, let's call it what it is. Fans didn't ask for this. Nobody woke up and said, you know what would make football even better? You know what would make football great? Logging in, resetting passwords, and buffering at 4th and goal. Nobody wants the biggest regular season games locked in behind a monthly fee, especially when cable prices have already been highway robbery at the best. And now, the timing is strictly brutal. Playoff races are heating up, divisional titles on the line, families gather around for the holidays, and the NFL says, cool, hope grandma knows how to download Peacock. This league prints money. It swims in TV deals. It doesn't need to nickel and dime the people who built it. Fans aren't beta testers. We aren't here to fund tech experiments while missing snaps because the apps crashed. Football is supposed to be accessible. That's the magic. That's why it dominates every other sport. You turn your TV on, boom, game on. No logins, no trials, no, your device is not supported. Streaming-only games don't grow the game. They gatekeep it. And here's the cold hard facts about this. When fans start missing games, they don't chase harder, they tune out. They fracture routines, you break habits, and habits are the real NFL superpower. So yeah, the quality of football might be elite. The production might be shiny, but the experience, it gets worse and worse and worse. The NFL needs to decide what does it want to be? The People's League or a subscription maze with shoulder pads? Because if the future of football is, sorry, you don't have the right app, then don't be shocked when fans start checking out altogether. But I want to hear from you, Man Hour Nations. Are streaming-only NFL games the future? Or is the league simply just pushing the fans a little too far this time? Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation! Rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk, Man Hour, Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour, Sport Talk, Man Hour, Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? And welcome to Man Hour NFL Talk, guys. Your go-to spot for live, raw, uncut NFL talk. I'm so glad you're rolling us with us today. Guys, before jumping into today's action, head over to manhourradio.com. As you find the exclusive merchandise, the freshest of the freshest blogs, and everything's happening with the show. So if you're rocking the Man Hour, guys, that is a spot to do it. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the share button, and of course, subscribe so you never miss a live, interactive show. What's going on? What's going on? But if you guys want the full Man Hour experience, guys, become a Big Sam Pundit. That is our members-only community where you get free entry into the weekly NFL pick'ems, giveaways, exclusive merchandise, and bonus live stream that only the Pig Skip pundits get. So if you want that next level access, guys, join the squad today. Now remember, this is a live interactive show, so drop your thoughts, your opinions, and your hottest of the hottest takes in the comments down below. I want to hear from you. But I also want to hear from you guys. There's a poll happening over here at youtube.com/Man Hour right now. Simple question. Who wins tonight? Is it the Buccaneers or is it the Falcons? That is the best question, guys. That is what is going on. Let me know who you got in the chat right now. Chat, who do you got? Who do you got? Who do you got tonight? But before we get too carried away, we got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, the chat. He says, what's up?
Skin pun. Get you
He says, what is up, Man Hour? My man John P was in the chat. He is a member, guys. So be like Man Hour, or be like John to become a Pick Sim Pundit. John says, Baker is pissed. He throws for 320 and 3 tutties tonight. Ooh, baby. We want that smoke tonight. Baker Mayfield might be pissed. But Baker Mayfield's got Mike Evans back, baby. He's got Mike Evans back, and he is going to light it up, baby. When he's averaged, 175 yards a game to get his 1,000? Like in the last 4 games? Last 5 games? I don't know. Whatever it is. He got to get it. Pigskin Pundits, get your song.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Old Man River is in the chat today. So if you guys are in the chat today, let us know down in the comments below, because this is a live, interactive show, and we are going to start right here up at the top, guys, and we're going to preview the Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Guys, Week 15 is about to kick off in just about an hour here now, right? Maybe hour and a half. I think it's 8:30 is the actual kickoff time. But I'm going to tell you how the Buccaneers can win this game, how the Atlanta Falcons can win this game, and most importantly, who ultimately wins this game. So let's start off here, right here up at the top, guys. And Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is flat out needed to bounce back in tonight's game. They got to come back there and throw for 320. Old Man River. He got to come out here and throw for 3 tutties. Guys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers have dropped 4 of their last 5, and the offense has simply just hit a wall. We're talking about 59 points in their last 14 quarters, going all the way back to the Bills game. That is not how you stay in control of the NFC South race. That is how you lose the NFC South race. But this is how they're letting teams like the Carolina Panthers creep back into the race. Now, let's be fair. To be fair, Baker is clearly not at 100%. He's been dealing with the knee and oblique and shoulder issues for the last 5, 7, 8 weeks, right? That's basically the entire throwing motion right there. And you can see it on the field. The timing is off. The accuracy is a little bit off. And during this recent slump, his completion percentage has dipped into the low 50s. That's not MVP Baker Mayfield that we saw earlier in the season. And when you live in that 51 to 53% range, drives die, and suddenly every third down feels like third and impossible. And then the turnovers. Oh, you gotta talk about the dreaded turnovers. They're sneaking back in. Earlier this season, he was protecting the football, playing within himself, giving the team a chance. Lately, you're seeing those risky throws, those late balls over the middle, and just a little bit of old Baker creeping back in. But let's not dump it all on Baker Mayfield, right? Because Baker Mayfield is the MVP of the NFL. Because this is where I want to bring everybody else into it. The offensive line has taken hits, injuries, inconsistencies, guys getting beat up all on one-on-ones. And that changes everything. When the pocket is collapsing a half a second sooner, Baker starts speeding up his clock. His mechanics get sloppy, and the ball placement starts to suffer as well. And on top of that, their rookie wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka, am I saying that name right? Emeka, right? Has some really painful drops recently. The man's dropping the ball like he's playing with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm talking drive-killing, momentum-swinging, game-losing drops. And for an offense that's already struggling to find rhythm, this is brutal. You finally scheme something open, you finally beat covers, and then the ball hits the turf. That wears on a quarterback, and it wears on the play caller, and it wears on the fans. So here's the first debate of the night for you guys down there in the chat. Is Baker Mayfield the problem in Tampa right now? Or is Baker more of a victim of the situation? Guys, in the chat, is it Baker's issue or somebody else? So, right, Baker or somebody else if this is somebody else's issue. Because injuries, offensive line issues, and receivers not stepping up, it's starting to compound. Team Baker is the problem, or Team Baker is the scapegoat. Drop it in the chat right now. Now, there is some good news for you Bucs fans out there. Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan are both listed as questionable, but there's a very real chance that we see them on the field tonight. If they're suiting up, that changes the math for the entire offense in a hurry. This makes this Tampa Bay Buccaneers very, very dangerous, baby. Evans is that security blanket. Big body, trusted, wins contested catches, exactly what a banged-up quarterback needs when he's not sugar sharp. When you're not superstar, you need Mike Evans. And Jalen gives you that extra juice. Someone who can separate and give you a quick, easy throws to get Baker back in rhythm. So here's the big second question for Man Hour Nation tonight. If Mike Evans and Jalen both play, is that enough to get the Bucs back on track? Or is it deeper than just getting the receivers healthy? Hopefully it all clicks. Personally, getting the receivers back makes it all click, but that's just me. What do you guys think? And then I'm going to throw one more out there for you, because this is where it gets interesting for the season as a whole. Because are the Buccaneers still legit NFC South contenders? Or are they quietly turning into pretenders and quickly fading down the stretch? So chat, are the Buccaneers right now contenders or pretenders, and where do you land? Shay Fraser's in the chat today. What's up, Shay? He says Baker throws for 350. Listen, y'all on some Baker hype train tonight, and I love it, baby. John says 320 and 320, and Shay's like, give me some 350. But John says, let's be realistic here. The old line is missing, and missing Mike Evans as well. So if the old line gets a little bit healthy, and Mike Evans is even a shell of himself, to the moon, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Woo-hoo, baby! Listen, we've seen an epic collapse in the AFC from the Indianapolis Colts. We've seen an epic collapse from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. They pretty much all had the division locked in by like week 10. Now we're thinking like, oh shit, they're in second place. With that being said, if the Buccaneers are healthy going into the playoffs, you do not want to play them, baby. You do not want to play them, baby. John says if the line can give Baker time to throw, they are contenders and a wild card. I mean, yes, they're not going to get the first round bye. They'll be playing on the wild card weekend, but they're winning the NFC South. Everybody knows they're winning the NFC South. The Carolina Panthers are going to collapse on themselves like the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to be like, oh, Andy Dalton, come save us again. Like, no. And then Shay wants to be crazy. He says the Bucs will be one and done. That's tough. Because we all know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are never one and done in the playoffs, Shay. We know if the Philadelphia Eagles come to town, wax that ass. We know if the Green Bay Packers come to town, wax that ass. We know if the Chicago Bears come to town, wax that ass. We know if the Dallas Cowboys come to town, wax that ass. They beating whoever steps up to the plate in the first round because they're going to want all the money. They want all the money. Baker Mayfield says, put it in the oven, close the door, because I'm baking, baby. I'm baking, baby. Baker's going to say, bring that ass here, boy. Belt the ass. John says, where are the Bucs defense rated? I have no idea. I know they're not very good because let's just be honest. When your offense is struggling, the defense is going to struggle as well. No matter how good your defense is, no matter how good your special teams is, no matter how good your coaching staff is, if the offense struggles, the rest of the team struggles. That's football 1-on-1. Defense feeds off offense, offense feeds off defense. And when your defense, if they make a big play, say they get they interception, fumble recovery, punch that ball out, say, give me that ball, baby. If the old rookie Ibuka, whatever the hell, how you say his name, drops the ball right in the mittens, that's a momentum killer. That is a momentum killer. Killer. He says, cheeks these rated cheeks. Get out of here with that. Marshmallow says hi. Thanks for the 1,000 duels, boss. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. It says, Shay says, I'll take the Bucs first game. Let my boy Parsons and company eat, baby. Shay. Bring it in closer real quick. Bring it in real close, Shay. Open your ears and listen. If the Green Bay Packers travel to Raymond James Stadium down there in Tampa, Florida, and play the Buccaneers in the first round, it's because of two things. It's because the Green Bay Packers have epically collapsed in the second half of the season. These last 3-4 games absolutely belt to ass. That means they've lost to the Chicago Bears. That means they lost to the Denver Broncos. That means they lost to whoever their last game was, the Detroit Lions' last game of the season. That means they're on a 3-game losing streak, Shay. That means they're not playing very good football. That means Toyotathon, Jordan Love, still hasn't thrown over 200 yards. That means they gonna whoop that ass, baby! That's what's going to happen. Come on, man. Come on, baby. Bucs defense is 18th per Fox, says Shay. That's tough. That's tough. That is middle of the pack. Middle of the pack. Maximus88 says need Atlanta to win to help Dallas out a little bit. You know what, Max? I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. And how the Falcons can win tonight is simply Kyle Pitts needs to step up. Kyle Pitts needs to stop being a baby back and step up. Because, guys, let's slide over to the Atlanta Falcons side right now because the Falcons are flat out in survival mode right now. Drake London out. That's a huge, massive loss. That's your number one wide receiver, your possession guy, your red zone hammer, gone. Fernandez. Suddenly, this Falcons offense is paper thin at wide receiver. And that changes everything about how they play. When you strip away that kind of weapon, you're just not missing a player. You're missing a big, big chunk of your identity. And that means one thing and one thing only. Kyle Pitts goes from a nice weapon, nice to have, to an absolutely necessity. Kyle Pitts has to step up tonight and ball out. It's simple as that. With London off the field, Pitts has to get fed over and over and over again. The targets are going to go up. The volume is there, and he's coming down with steady catches. He's working the seams, moving the chains, giving Kirk Cousins, that 40-some-odd quarterback, the security blanket in the middle of the field. The touchdowns really haven't shown up yet, but the role has grown, and Cousins clearly trusts Kyle Pitts, and he needs that completion. But here's where things get a little bit interesting. Kyle Pitts was drafted to be a unicorn. He was drafted to be the man, the myth, the legend. The 4th overall pick, a matchup nightmare. Line him up wide, in the slot, on the line, whatever. Just create chaos for defense. Instead, he's quietly turning into more of a traditional tight end. He's a reliable chain mover, safety valve. That's valuable. That's not what you draft the overall pick for. Let's just be honest about there. So let's fire this one off the chart for you guys right now here at Man Hour Nation. Is Kyle Pitts finally becoming the player that the Falcons need him to be? Or is he still a watered-down version of what he's supposed to be when they took him at 4th overall pick? If your team Pitts, type it down in the comments. If Team Vitz is evolving into the guy he needs right now versus Team, that's not what 4th overall unicorn looks like. Let me know where you guys stand. But now let's zoom out on tonight. Let's take out the lens, put in the wide angle 80-yard lens or 80-millimeter lens. Let's zoom out tonight. If Atlanta is going to spoil the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight, they are going to kick Tampa while they're stumbling. Kyle Pitts has to be front and center. It's simple as that. You have to feed him the ball over and over and over again. With the beat-up wide receiver room, he just can't be a third down option. He's got to be the guy. Explosive plays, chunk gains, red zone finishes. He has to tilt the field. Kyle Pitts has to be Travis Kelce. Kyle Pitts has to be Gronk. Kyle Pitts has to be Vontae Davis, right? It has to be one of the best tight ends in the league, period. Because Tampa is going to do defensively. They're going to load up and stop the run. Make Kirk Cousins beat them. Can he do it? And circling Kyle Pitts on the whiteboard as priority number 1. If Pitts still is in that situation, that's star stuff. But here's the next question for you, Man Hour picks and pundits out there. Is this the game where Kyle Pitts finally has the, oh yeah, that's why we drafted him breakout performance? Or is he just destined just to be a good, solid piece, whoever really truly becomes that game wrecker Falcons were promised? That's what I really want to know. And let's layer this into the bigger picture. Atlanta's playoff hopes are hanging in by the balance. Basically, they're done. Let's just be honest. They're facing a Bucs team that is wounded, inconsistent, and begging to be beaten yet again. If you can take advantage of that spot, if you can't take advantage of that spot, even with all the injuries, what does that say about the Falcons team? Time to move on from Raheem Morris. Time to move on from Kyle Pitts. Time to move on from Kirk Cousins. But here's the real question for you, Man Hour Nation out there. Are the Falcons still the real NFC South threats, even with this beat-up wide receiver room, or are they showing us that they're just not ready for the prime time when it really matters? Contenders or pretenders? That's what it comes down to. Comment down below. But Man Hour Nation, are they contenders or are they pretenders? Shay says, Pitts ain't stepped up in the league yet. Biggest bust in the past 5 to 10 years. And that's tough. That's tough because I remember sitting there on draft night with my man BC Combs up there in Chicago, Illinois. We were watching the draft like, Kyle Pitts, 4th overall. We were promised the next Gronk. We were promised the next Travis Kelce, the Tony G's. We were promised all that. But now we're here 5 years later. 4 years later, right? He's playing on his last year on his rookie deal. We haven't seen shit. But let me ask you this something, Shay. Is it because he's not shit? Or is it because of the Falcons system? Because honestly, I think you put Kyle Pitts in the Travis Kelce role in Kansas City, he thrives, baby. If the Kansas City Chiefs do not make a play for JJ this offseason, they make a play for Kyle Pitts. That's who they need to get, because I don't think Kyle Pitts is a bust. I think he's just in a bad system. There haven't been many busts in the NFL in a long, long time. Jamarcus Russell's the last one that comes to my mind, right? To be fair, he's just been a bad situation. Who's your quarterback? 45-year-old, 50-year-old, a 29-year-old rookie, like it's been a seesaw quarterback. Like, who do you want? That's what it comes down to. Maximus says, I could think of tons of bigger busts. Just because Kyle Pitts is an average doesn't make him a full bust. I like him to leave and try out a different system. That's exactly what I said, Maximus, and I totally agree with you. I think if you put Kyle Pitts, hell, in the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, you could put him in the San Francisco 49 system next to George Kittle or be George Kittle. Hell, you could put him in the Green Bay Packers. They like to use those tight ends. I don't think Raheem Morris play schemes is using Kyle Pitts' full ability. If that makes sense. Did I say that right? I think I said that right. John says he controls his own destiny. And then Maximus is like, oh, you want to talk about bust? Slow it down, baby, and hold my Monster Energy drink. You got Zach Wilson. You got Trey Lance. You got Tyree Wilson. You got Kenny Pickett. Slow it down, baby. Pause. Kenny Pickett is going to be the man, the myth, the legend in Las Vegas next season. Trey Lance is going to get a shot of wherever he is. He is not going to be in LA next year. He is going to go to the Jets. He's going to go to Miami. Hell, he might even go to Cincinnati when Joe Burrow retires. Zach Wilson, we could potentially call that. I don't know. That is tough. Because I feel like any quarterback that has gone to New York has been a bust. But we look at Sam Darnold, started off in New York. Look at him now. Potentially league MVP. Geno Smith started off in New York. Look at him now. Now, not now, but like last year. Look at him. Zach Wilson's tough. Zach Wilson's tough. Jay says, we were promised to be a generational meeting Kyle Pitts. Negative, they said to be good. We are comparing Pitts to the great like Gonzalez, Gronk, Kelce, etc. Get out of here with that shit. I agree with you, man. When you take somebody 4th overall, especially a receiver, tight end, receiver, whatever, you expect them to be dominant in the NFL for a very, very long time. When the Kansas City Chiefs took old Dr. Man from Canada, #1 overall, as a lineman, forget his name, help me out. Like, he retired to become a doctor in Canada during COVID. He was dominant. When you take Caleb Williams, #1 overall, you expect him to be dominant. Now, he's getting there. Not there yet, but he's getting there. The reason why we're calling Zach Wilson a potential bust, Trey Lance a potential bust, because they were drafted in the top 5 and they haven't done shit. John says, Ryan Leaf, Andre Ward, bust. That's way back before my time. What I think Ryan Leaf was 96. I just started to watch NFL when I was about 95, 96. That is when I became a Kansas City Chiefs fan. 95, 96. But yeah. But guys, how can this game get won by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Their defense simply has to stop the bleeding. Let's flip to this defensive side, because this game isn't about Baker and Kyle Pitts. It's about which beat-up unit can survive 4 quarters. Guys, the Tampa Bay defense has taken real shots all season long. They've lost key playmakers like Tyke Smith, Sean Reddick, and they go into out there bringing out veteran JPP, Mr. Clawman himself, just to add depth and leadership to that front. And when you're signing JPP in season, that tells you everything you know. Bodies are thin, snaps are high, and this defense has been tested over and over and over again. Smith going down hurts your versatility on the back end, on that nickel hybrid presence to blitz, tackle, and cover. Hashawn Reddick brings out the stripes, for you to bend that edge. Game-changing pass rusher, and suddenly instead of just dissecting offenses, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is reaching, patching holes, trying to manufacture pressure with scheme instead of pure talent. But before the Bucs fans start playing the world's smallest violin, look across the field. The Atlanta Falcons got their own problems as well. This isn't one healthy, dominant defense versus a wounded unit. Both of these teams are limping into prime time. It is injury bug in the NFL season. This is not the most wonderful time of the year. This is the time to get in the ER and get yourself fixed. You got the Atlanta Falcons dealing with injuries, inconsistent tackling, breakdowns in coverage, and just pure straight-out bad moments, and a pass rush that comes and goes at best. Both defenses have question marks on tape and bruised on the scheme. This is one of those games where you look at the injury report and go, do they even have anybody left to play? Do I know any of these players? Because we don't. And this is where the game gets fun. Because games like this, where both teams are banged up, where depth charts get exposed, where backs up are playing starter snaps, that's where heroes come out of nowhere. That's where one guy you barely game plan for suddenly makes a play that flips the entire night. So here's the debate. Here's a defensive question for all you people out here in Man Hour Nation. Which side of the ball do you trust in the matchup more? Tampa's wounded but experienced defense, or Atlanta Falcons' inconsistent but young, faster unit? Are you rolling with Team Bucs? Type Bucs down in the chat. If you're rolling with the Birds, type in Falcons down there. The younger, faster D, or the older, experienced D? And I'll add this as well. In a game where both offenses have issues and both defenses are beat up, sometimes it doesn't come down to the best unit. It comes down to the unit who makes one play, forces one more turnover, and gets one more snap. So final decision for you questions down in the chat. Does this game get decided by a big offensive performance or one greedy, ugly defensive stand in the fourth quarter when everybody's exhausted? Chime in the chat below. Is this game going to be won by star power or sheer toughness? That's what I want to know. And Maximus says, if you're being honest, Atlanta doesn't really stand a chance, no matter Tampa Bay's defense situation. It's going to be Bijan versus the defense all night long. And that's where they'll get shut down early. And that's the biggest flaw of the Atlanta Falcons. We all love Bijan. Bijan was drafted, 9th overall, 8th overall? We expect him to be dominant. And he's been dominant. When he has a balanced attack, passing, when rushing, Bijan is dominant. Bijan's a top 5 running back in the NFL. But when you have Kirk Cousins at your quarterback, 40-plus-some-year-old quarterback, that nobody wants on the roster. He's only there because old Michael Penix Jr., 29-year-old second-year player, is hurt yet again. Imagine that, right? Bijan's going to get shut down. I think it's going to get ugly early. That's just tough. John, people's Old Man River.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
Guys, be like Old Man River and hit the membership tab down below. Become a Pigskin pun. He says, sure power and defense wins. That doesn't tell me who the sure power or the best defense is. Which one's the better defense, Old Man River? What defense steps up and balls out, baby? That is the question. But simply put, guys, who wins the night? Who wins the night? Because we're heading down to Raymond J. Stadium tonight, guys. Pirate ship rocking, cannons loaded, lights playing over the NFC South. This isn't just another primetime game. This is a flat-out divisional scrap. You got the Buccaneers at home trying to hang on to control of the NFC South, calm the noise, and prove they're still top dogs in the division. And on the other sideline, you got the Falcons coming in desperate, crawling, scratching, trying to spice spoiler and still some late-season momentum, and when everybody's got them counted out. Guys, Tampa is the home favorite. Vegas likes the Bucs. The public public vote right here is leaning toward the Bucs as well. One tip ball, one busted coverage, one special teams play, and everything you thought you knew about this matchup gets flipped. Under the lights, in the division, on Thursday Night Football, anything can happen. Anything can happen. You got the banged up stars potentially coming back. You got guys stepping into big roles because of injuries, and a couple of who's that guy names could end up breaking the slate. This is one of those games where the healthy surprise can swing your fantasy matchup. So guys, here I want to know from you. Who wins tonight? Who wins tonight? Buccaneers or Falcons? I'm rolling with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby! I think the home crowd, the urgency, and just enough healthy playmakers make the difference. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking this one 24-10. They pretty much shut it out in the third quarter with a big punt return. Bucs 24, Falcons 10. The defense does just enough. The offense finds just enough rhythm, and the Atlanta injuries kept up to them in the second half. That is my call. But now it is your turn, Man Hour Nation. Who do you have tonight? Drop your score prediction in the chat below. Bucs by double digits, Falcons with the upset, or are they just turning into a low-scoring, slug it out, slam it out, defensive shootout? Give me your winner. Give me your final score. And most importantly, give me your player of the game. Let's see if that player of the game actually talks to the reporter after the game. Talking to you, Justin Herbert. Now, Old Man Rivers says the Bucs will win 27-17. That seems like a very reasonable score. Double-digit score. I like it, Old Man River. But let me ask you this. Do the Falcons have enough firepower on offense to score 17 points? Are we going to finally see vintage Kirk Cousins? Are we finally going to see why they gave them $100 million? I don't think so. I don't think so. Maximus88 says, I don't want it to happen, but the Bucs by plus scores. And that is tough. Maximus, you seem like a Atlanta Falcons fan. By your picture, it looked like you're a Buffalo Bills fan, but it's very small on my side. But it seems to me like you're an Atlanta Falcons fan. Now, I like you're realistic. You're picking with your brain, not your heart. However, let me give you some context. Thursday night games, teams are going to come out there with vanilla defense, vanilla offense. They're banged up, short work week, kind of just want to get in and get out. Let's just be honest. So I'm going to take it one step further. As I do think the Buccaneers will win 24-10, I think it's the first team to 11 points wins this game. I don't anticipate a offensive shootout by any stretch of the imagination. I expect the banged up defenses to step up and make some plays. And John says Mike Evans with 165 yards and 2 tutties, baby. Damn, baby. He needs to average 175 to get that 1,000. Give that man 10 more yards. Give him 10 more yards. Wouldn't that be the story of the offseason? Mike Evans has averaging 200 yards the last 4 games of the season, and he gets that 1,000-yard mark yet again, breaking Jerry Rice's record. Wouldn't that be something? Jetta 18-2 says I liked. Thanks, brother. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it, man. Definitely appreciate it. Guys, drop your scores down below as we are live every Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. East Coast time. Tomorrow we will do our NFL pick'ems. But we're getting ready to take the second half of the show, guys. This little thing I call panic or patience.
The clock is ticking loud, tick, tick. Fourth and goal, the pressure's thick. Do we fold or make the play? The fans are shouting, hey, hey, hey. Do we rise or take the fall? Are we legends after all? Panic or patience, what's the call? Are we standing strong or about to stall? One big move or let it ride? Panic or patience?
So it is time to switch gears, and we're going to dive into a little thing we got to call panic or patience. Here's how it works, guys. I'm going to throw out a situation, a scenario that's happening around the NFL world, and it's up to decide. Should we be hitting the panic button, or is it time to slow it down, baby? Just be a little bit patient. If we think it's time to panic, we'll say, okay, Buck, things are not looking very good. We need to start freaking out a little bit, like the moment where everything seems to be a little spiraling out of control. But if we think we need to take a little bit more time, relax, take a deep breath, and let's play it out situation, we'll go with patience. We remind ourselves that sometimes it takes a little bit every bump to get past the road. With that being said, guys, it's time for panic or patience. All right, guys, so the first panic and patience of the night should the Kansas City Chiefs be in panic mode heading into Week 15? All right, Man Out Nation, it's time for panic or patience tonight. We're breaking down the Kansas City Chiefs heading into Week 15. The Chiefs, the franchise that sat on top of the AFC thrones for nearly a decade. The team that's made winning the division look easy. The team that turned one-score games into automatic wins. And now here we are, a below 500 football team. 4 losses of the last 5 games, and 1 week away from pure elimination from the AFC playoff picture. Chat, type panic if the Chiefs are in panic mode, or type patience if you think the Chiefs need to slow down, baby. Now, let's start with the obvious, guys. There are massive reasons to panic in Kansas City. The Chiefs lost their opener to the Chargers way back in Brazil back in Week 1. It feels like damn near 2 seasons ago. But the problems from the night are the same problems from last week. Mahomes cannot hit explosive plays. The run game is non-existent, and the receivers keep dropping passes. And Travis Kelce, that Travis Kelce looks like a man feeling the weight of 12 seasons on his shoulders. Everything that has haunted this offense showed up again in the loss over the Houston Texans. 4th down conversions, no separation, no rhythm, no spark, no answer. And now the math has turned brutal. The loss dropped their playoff chances to just 10%. Their streak of 9 straight AFC West titles is over. Finito, gone. Their path now is a wild card, and even that is barely alive. A loss in Week 15 officially eliminates them from the playoff competition. Let me repeat that. The Kansas City Chiefs can be eliminated from playoff competitions in Week 15. That's not panic energy. That is meltdown energy. And here comes the Chargers. Fresh off an overtime win versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Justin Herbert playing with a broken hand and still dealing. And a team that's already beaten the Chiefs once. The Chiefs have no room for error. None. Zero. And this is why the panic crowd is very, very loud. But I can see why people need to say, slow it down, baby. I can see why people are saying, let's be patient. There's a little silver of hope at the end of the line, right? Even with all the mistakes, even with all the drops, even with all the inconsistency, the Chiefs are still not dead yet. Mahomes is still Mahomes. Let's just be honest. The greatest quarterback in the NFL. As long as he's upright, you cannot count out Kansas City out. We have seen them come back from double-digit deficits and the playoffs. We've seen them flip the seasons in December. We've seen them win the entire football when the entire football world buried them. And yes, the offense is a mess, but the defense has kept them alive all year long. They have given this team chance after chance after chance. If the offense can give them just an average performance, the Kansas City Chiefs can beat and will beat anybody. And that's the most important thing for this patient side. Win this game and everything resets. Their playoff hopes double, their season stays alive, and hope remains. Kansas City does not need miracles. They need one thing and one thing only, win out. It's not easy, but it's very, very possible. As long as it's possible, you do not ever throw dirt on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. That is the patience argument, but this is where I stand. This is where I stand. Guys, this is full out panic mode. This is full out panic mode. It has to be. When the math says you're one loss from elimination, you panic. When the drops keep piling up, you panic. When your playoff odds are at 10%, you panic. And when your season depends on beating a team that already beat you once, you panic. But panic is not surrender. Panic means urgency. Panic means desperation. Panic means play like your season is on the line, because it is. Chiefs Kingdom, you should be panicking, but they should also be locked in. If Kansas City wins this weekend, they get one more week to breathe. If they lose, it's over. But man, our nation, should the Kansas City Chiefs panic into heading week 15, or is it still patience because it still got all the right answers? Guys, subscribe, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. East Coast time, right at youtube.com/manhour. Now, this is a live and after show, so comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Old Man River is a pigskin pun. Get you some.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
He says, let me be clear on this, Buck. He says, let me clear my throat. Let me look deep into your soul like the wind that's coming through you to a -2 degrees on Sunday. The Chiefs are done. The Chiefs are finished. The Chiefs have no shot. Damn, slow it down. That's tough. He also says Dollar General Kermit has his best day and all downhill from here on out. He's not no Dollar General Kermit. Get out of here with that crap. What do you, Maximus says, Chiefs' future is straight panic. The decline is on and the team is very vet relevant. You can't throw seasons away when the results of your superstar retirement and free agent losses. Maximus, you are right. The Kansas City Chiefs are a veteran team. The Kansas City Chiefs are an older team. However, Kansas City Chiefs trade for Kyle Pitts this offseason. I actually just signed him because he's probably going to be a free agent. Bring Kyle Pitts down to Kansas City. Replace Travis Kelce. Make that bold trade. Get a true number 1 receiver. Make Rashid Rice your number 2 receiver. You're your number 3. They back. They back, baby. I seen butt hurt live. I'm not butthurt. I'm not butthurt, man. I am not butthurt. But you know who is butthurt? Eagles fans. Eagles fans are mad because Geomex in the chat. What's up, Geomex? We see you, big guy. But next up here on the Panic Patient, guys. Should the Eagles be in panic mode heading into week 15? Man, our nation, it's time for Panic or Patience, and tonight we're breaking down, talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that looked like a locomotive early in the season, but now looks more like a shopping cart with the busted wheel heading into week 15. Philly fans have seen this movie before. NFC Championship one year, implosion the next. And 2025 season has the same script written all over it again, baby. Chat below, Titanic or Patience if the Eagles should panic heading into week 15. Now, if you're an Eagles fan, there are real reasons to be smashing the panic button right now. First off, this offense. This offense flat out lost. Kevin's offense cannot decide what it wants to be. The play calling is inconsistent every single week. They lean on Saquon Barkley just long enough to get him rolling and then immediate banning him for no reason. You like the reigning offensive player of the year and you treat him like a decoy. Like, what are you doing? The passing game is even worse. Jalen Hurts has been forced into low percentage outside the pocket throws over and over again with no easy answers built into the system. Everything feels like a struggle. Everything feels forced. And then came the turnover parade in week 14. That's when you knew things were bad. That's when you knew things were like, oh, man. And the offensive line, injuries everywhere. That unit has always been a backbone of this team. When it collapses, the whole thing crumbles. And that's exactly what we're watching, guys. If it wasn't for Vic Fangio's defense, the Eagles would already be booking Cancun resorts right now. The defense has kept the season afloat, not the offense. And after the bye week, the Eagles are simply 2-3. Only 16.2 points per game. That's not playoff football. That's not a Super Bowl team. Hell, that's not even a division-winning football team. That is straight up concerning. And then it's deja vu. In 2023, the Eagles started off 10-1 before collapsing and limping into 11-6 finish. The season feels the same. Hot start, bye week, sudden wobble, confusion, no rhythm, bad timing. The panic argument is strong. But if you want to slow it down, baby, and you want to be patient, let's talk about the patience because the Philadelphia Eagles are not done yet. They're not dead yet, baby. Even with the offensive mess, the Eagles still have a 91% chance to win the NFC East. The Cowboys' own struggles have kept them breathing room alive. That is luck, but it counts. You know what? Because when you look at the schedule, Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Commanders, again, 3 of those teams are well below average. 2 of them straight up bad. Vegas and Washington, right? Let's just be honest. The Eagles control their own destiny. Win the games you're supposed to win, and the division is yours. And Week 15 against the Raiders is a gift. A 2-win opponent coming into your building at the exact moment you need confidence. This is a perfect bounce-back spot. Nick Sirianni knows it. The players know it. The fans know it. This is the must-win, not only to keep Dallas at bay, but to keep the city of Philadelphia from flipping cards, lighting up polls, and demanding Sirianni's head on a platter. Guys, if the Eagles take care of business this week, the panic drops. The confidence rises, and the mojo comes back, baby! But here's where I stand. This is where I stand. Philadelphia Eagles need to be in panic mode. The Philadelphia Eagles need to be hitting the panic mode. Not a caution panic, not a panic. No, they need to smash that pouting bucket. Guys, this is a complete meltdown. They need to fire everybody. They need to fire the general manager. They need to fire the head coach, defense coordinator. They need to fire everybody. They need to trade Jalen Hurts. They need to trade A.J. Brown to Kansas City. The offense is broken. The line is injured. The play calling is lost. Jalen Hurts has no rhythm. And this is exact similarities of 2023. The collapse are too real to ignore. But there is a key. There's a shining light at the end of the tunnel. Week 15 is the buffer. Beat the Las Vegas Raiders. You can stabilize the season, lose 2 of the next 3 at home, and the panic meter goes through the roof. Right now, guys, panic, panic, panic. But with one win, they can flip the narrative. One win, they can flip the whole season on its head. But man, our nation. Should the Eagles panic heading into Week 15, or should they stay patient with the soft schedule stretch coming up? Let me know. Excuse me. Geomex says, what's up? What's up, Geomex? Big guy. He says, go Kenny Pickett. Oh, get out of here with that. John People says, Hurts will prevail to that semifinals and Eagles will be done. So you're saying the Eagles are the NFC Championship team? You're saying the Philadelphia Eagles are good enough to make it to the NFC? Listen, when you look at the roster, look at past history, yes, the Philadelphia Eagles can 100%, if healthy, make it to the NFC Championship game. However, their offense sucks right now. You have a 2,000-yard rusher in Saquon Barkley. You're not using that man? Yes, I understand he had 171 yards, whatever, versus the whatever team they just played last. The name slipped in my mind. The Chargers. But 81 of the yard came on 2 carries. 121 yards and 81 of those yards came on two carries. Use and abuse Saquon Barkley. I can call these offensive plays. I can take you to the Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley left, Saquon Barkley right. Not that hard. Oh, A.J. Brown, little pass pissed off? Go read your book, big guy. They're not. They are not a NFC team. Maximus says the Eagles are in panic mode. The Dallas Cowboys ended their year, and we coming for the division. Eagles' issue is their offensive coordinator. The fact that Jalen Hurts can't surprise 4,000 yards with the top 3 receiver room. Facts on facts on facts on facts. Maximus, I said you do not want to let the Dallas Cowboys in. And yes, the Philadelphia Eagles do have a 91% chance of winning the division. But you know what? These analytics bullshit. That's what it is. It's bullshit. Sometimes you got to use your eyes. Sometimes you got to use the gut check, right? When Andy Reid went for it on 4th down, that wasn't a gut check. That was an analytics bullshit. You use your gut. You use your eyes. Feel it around. And I feel right now that the Philadelphia Eagles are not a good team. I feel right now that 91% is Fugazi. I feel that the Dallas Cowboys are coming, baby, and the Eagles are going to be collapsing, and next year I'm going to be on the hot seat at the end of the season. Geomex says, the last I checked, Eagles are in first place in the East. Geomex, the last I checked, you were absolutely correct. Look at our top banner right there. It is going to come across, right? But what you don't see is the Philadelphia Eagles being 2-3 in their last 5 games. What you don't see is a 16.2 points per game average. What you don't see is Saquon Barkley getting 22 yards versus the Dallas Cowboys. What you don't see is Jalen Hurts throwing 4 interceptions in one game. What you don't see is Jalen Hurts having 2 turnovers on one play. Look beyond the numbers. Look beyond the analytics. Panic in Philadelphia. John says, Eagles just enough to win till the playoffs. You know what's going to happen, John? Last night here on the Met, I believe it was Factor Crap segment, we said Jaden Daniels need to be sat down for the rest of the season. No sense of risking his injury whatsoever. He's not playing this week. But next week, when the Commanders play the Philadelphia Eagles, I bet you Jaden Daniels is in the lineup. And I bet you Jaden Daniels goes for 300 yards passing, 86 yards rushing with 4 tutties, and the Philadelphia's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And that repeats week 18. Pickett playoff spoiler. Let's go, baby. Make it happen. You know what? I'm going to be the biggest Raiders fan this weekend. Go Kenny Pickett. Go, baby, go. John says that would be something, man hour. That would be something, man hour. Kenny Pickett here having a career day in the vet epic. Let Kenny Pickett eat. Wait, says Geo Mix. This is Chat Sports? Delusional Resport. This is not Chat Sports. This is not Chat Sports. I do not associate myself with any branding whatsoever anymore. I was a part of the Believe Sports Network, but see you later, like alligator. They got a little funny with some money. Don't be fucking with my money. But John says, slow it down, baby. Patience all day. Geomex says Seahawks are legit. I agree, but they'll be a one and done as well. But guys, move on to the next panic or patience. Excuse me. Should the Baltimore Ravens guys be in panic mode heading into week 15? Man, our nation, it's time for panic or patience, and I were talking about the Baltimore Ravens. And if you want to talk about the chaos, inconsistency, and pure emotional whiplash, look no further than the 2025 NFL season Baltimore Ravens. This team started off 1-5. Then they rattled off 5 straight wins. Then they had a division in back of their hands and dropped it back-to-back AFC North home games. It's been a roller coaster of a ride with no seatbelts. Chat. Type panic if the Ravens should be in panic mode, or type patience if we all need to chill. Slow it down, baby. Guys, if you're on the panic camp, you have plenty of ammunition. Let's start with the defense. The Baltimore Ravens defense ranks 30th in the NFL with just 19 sacks. 19! We're in week 15, and a rookie, Mike Green, leads the team with 2.5 sacks. That is a nightmare for a franchise that's built his brand on defensive chaos. And it showed up against week 15 when Aaron Rodgers turned back the clock and torched him. Aaron Rodgers has not been vintage Rodgers all season long, but Baltimore gave him life. They let him slash plays fly all over the field. That's not what playoff defenses do. But the real panic button sits with the offense. The Ravens have become a turnover machine. 6 giveaways in the last 2 weeks, 5 of those in week 13 alone, and another game-changing interception last Sunday. And Lamar Jackson simply does not look like Lamar Jackson. 1 game all year long above 250 yards passing. 1 game all year long above 50 yards rushing. Since the hamstring injury, he has not looked comfortable running or throwing. The explosiveness is not there. The confidence is not there. Lamar Jackson is not there. And then the run game is simply hit or miss. 217 yards 1 week, then nothing but frustration and short yardage the next. The inconsistencies are staggering. Baltimore has had play success rate of just 46.6%. That's only 0.1% better than the Saints. And the Saints, who has started Spencer Rattler and Tyler Stroud all year. Simply put, the Saints suck. And the red zone offense, even worse. 32.9% success rate on the season. 21.4% during their losing streak. If you cannot finish drives, you simply cannot finish the season. And look at their schedule moving over. They got the Bengals this week, and then the Patriots, Packers, and then the Steelers. If the Ravens lose the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday, their Week 18 showdown with the Pittsburgh Steelers could mean absolutely nothing. This is why there's real panic in Baltimore. But let's talk about the patience side. Let's slow it down, baby, just for a second, because as chaotic as the season has been, the Ravens still have a pulse. They have already shown they can run off with a win streak. They did it once with a 5-game heater that proves they can stabilize if they clean up turnovers and get Lamar comfortable again. This is a well-coached team. Well, this is a mediocre coach team. This is still a roster with veteran leadership, and this is still a group that has battled through injuries, adversity, and inconsistencies before. And let's just be real. The Bengals defense is simply not good. It's soft. It's vulnerable. On Thanksgiving night, Baltimore moved the ball up and down the field on them all night long. They only lost because they turned it over 5 times. That's simply fixable. If Lamar protects the ball, Baltimore can beat the Bengals. And if they beat the Bengals, it brings the life back into the season. They control how meaningful Week 18 can be, but it all hinges on Sunday. Does patience mean trust Baltimore to magically become 2,000 Ravens overnight? No, it simply does not. But it means recognizing that they still have a path if they take advantage of the opportunities in front of them. But guys, this is where I stand. The Ravens should 100% be in panic mode heading into week 15. Not because their season is officially over, because if they lose this game, their season is over. The defense is inconsistent. The offense is turnover heavy. Lamar Jackson has not looked right. The red zone efficiency is brutal, and the schedule only gets harder and harder and harder. This week is the season. Full stop. If Baltimore wins, they live to fight another day. If they lose, you can put a bow on 2025. But Man Hour Nation, what do you think? Should the Ravens panic heading into week 15, or should they stay patient and trust the bounce back? Guys, subscribe, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. East Coast time, right here at youtube.com/Man Hour. Now, this is a live interactive show, so comment down below and let me know your thoughts. John says, panic in Baltimore. Not panic at the disco, panic in Baltimore. And I agree with you, baby. Panic, panic, panic. Can't say much more clear than that. Time for the stars on the offense in Baltimore to earn that money, baby. This is the MO in Baltimore. Every time an offensive players get those dollar bills, y'all. Look at Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, defense-heavy team, carried him to the Super Bowl. I think they won the Super Bowl, right? Once Joe Flacco got those dollar bills, y'all, they all started sucking. Lamar Jackson had a pretty damn good defense with him. Went to the AFC Championship game. Got the bills, y'all. What happens now? Start sucking. History, the world, the NFL, your life goes in cycles. And this is another cycle, another season for the Baltimore Ravens. You have a great defense. The offense gets the dollar bills, y'all. Then they're going to build up the defense again. They're going to get another young superstar, get the dollar bills, and it's inevitable. Geo Max 72 says the AFC is too strong for the Ravens to be rattled before the playoffs. Injuries may sink them. They appear to be playing on a thin roster. They appear to be playing with a bunch of, I don't know what to do with my hands. Because let's flash back to the Kansas City Chiefs game when Lamar Jackson officially got hurt with his with his hamstring. The Kansas City Chiefs were whooping that ass, baby. I sat here right here on Man Hour and basically said Lamar Jackson's faking it. That's what I said. I said I don't see where Lamar Jackson got hurt. He simply put, he's getting his ass whooped. He doesn't want to play no more. And then the next week's like, oh, now he's just milking it, right? But obviously, may have been wrong. Or maybe my man Shay said it best. I think it was via text. No, I'm sorry. I lied. It was my man Carson Lang. Pigskin pun.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
Carson says, Buck, I know we boys. I know we friends from way back. I know we football buddies, we drinking buddies, all that good stuff. But he says, let me tell you this. I know you don't like Lamar Jackson. But Carson says, I bet you if Lamar Jackson goes to a dome team, to a warm weather team, Arizona, Miami, Houston Texans, Minnesota, Detroit, whatever, right? He is an MVP Super Bowl winning quarterback. Maybe Lamar Jackson just doesn't like the cold. Maybe Lamar Jackson just wants out of Baltimore. Maybe the Baltimore Ravens are simply just not that good. get some coaching. Send them out. But you know what, guys? That's going to be it for tonight's show. Enjoy the game. We'll be back tomorrow live, raw, uncut with my man Shay Fraser and me with the Week 15 NFL Pick'ems. Yeah.
Hey, now it's time to take off. Gotta keep it live and raw. Better stay tuned in.